Hello and welcome to today's session for strategies for sustainable design. No one has joined yet, no learners have joined yet, so I think I'll wait for 5 minutes to see if people join, and then we'll start today's session. It is 5 minutes now. I think we should start today's session. So yes, if you can just indicate if you can hear me and you can see my screen. You could just type in the chat box if you can hear me and see my screen. Okay, and also you can hear me. Okay, so we'll proceed with today's session. So This week, that is week 6, these are the lectures that you would have covered in your weeks in your week's lectures. So the first would be growth and development in construction and allied sectors. So you would have studied a little bit about how growth and development in construction and allied sectors is managed, how it's encouraged by the government, how different uh, policies and programs are in place to take care of growth and development in construction and allied sectors. Then next you would have studied about policy push in real estate and manufacturing sectors. So how in real estate and manufacturing sectors several policies and programs are in place to actually push development in towards a way that sustainable development is achieved. Similarly, you would have studied policy push for development of low economic regions. So you might be aware that economic development all over India, or in case of any area or any region, almost never happens in a uniform way. So some regions might be highly developed, some region might have high economic productivity, some region might be struggling with economic development. So this lecture would have introduced to you a little bit about how different policies are in place to push for development of the low economic regions which are there in India. Then you would have studied a little bit about sustainable building materials, and then the principle of reduce, reuse and recycle, which is a principle for more sustainable consumption patterns and patterns for reuse and recycle of all the materials that we use. So these are the lectures which you would have covered this week. We will go over some questions related to these lectures. These questions were assigned in the previous run of this course. So these are not the same as ones which you are assigned in the current run. There might be some overlaps or some similarities in the questions, but these questions are from the previous run of this course. So what I'll be telling you is the background material of all the questions or all the problems that we'll be solving. I'll tell you the background material a little bit, and I'll tell you the approach of how to approach the question, how to solve it, and I hope that will help you to answer your current assignments, and it can even help you in understanding your current assignments, and maybe it will help you to solve the questions which you'll be assigned for your examination. I hope that is clear. So we will proceed with the questions for today. So the first question for today is, what was India's rank in the 2019 Agility Emerging Markets Logistics Index? And you are given 4 options: 4, 3, 2 and 5. So what Agility Emerging Markets Logistics Index basically is, it's a logistics index that is created by Agility. So Agility is a group of companies which is involved in global supply chain services, infrastructure and innovation. What this company also does, because of its huge knowledge of the comings and goings of all the global supply chain services and infrastructure and innovation, because of all its background knowledge and the data and over time that the company has collected, it prepares an annual global ranking for emerging logistic economies all around the globe. So this ranking is prepared based on emerging markets logistic index, which the company has named its index, which compares overall competitiveness of 50 different countries all around the globe based on their logistics strengths. So this can include things like business climates, digital readiness, and other factors that make economies attractive to businesses and investors. So what this index basically tells is the higher a country's rank is in this index, the more attractive that country is to global investment and businesses to set up their operations in that particular country. So this is what the agility emerging markets logistic index represents. So our question asks that what was India's rank in the 2019 Agility Emerging Market Logistics Index. So this is a snapshot which I have taken of the index from the 2019 report. So you can see here India is ranking second in the index. So according to this, the answer to this question would be 2. So India's rank would be the second. You can see in this index also, this is the comprehensive agility emerging agility emerging market logistics index, and this is the I think this is the weighted weights along with the ranks. Weights are assigned to each country, how attractive they are based on the index. And then even the individual components of the index have been mentioned here. For example, the domestic logistics opportunity present in different countries, then international logistic opportunities which are there in different countries, and then the basic business fundamentals which exist in different countries, how different countries rank. So you can see in terms of basic business fundamentals, India is quite behind UAE. However, if you see the overall index, India is farther ahead than UAE. This is because of UAE's poor domestic and international logistic opportunities. I have also provided the link to Agility's website. This is the link here. This is for further reading if you would want to see that. Although I would recommend that you go onto this website and see for yourself. For example, you can see an overview of the report here on their website. So this is for the year 2023. You can see the rankings. So for example, see even for year 2023 the rankings are similar. Then you can see for each different different components of the index, you can see how the countries are ranked and what are their weights or points in the index that have been assigned to them. So for example, that was a domestic logistic opportunities. This is for international logistic opportunities. If you just see international logistic opportunities, India still ranks the second, but you see UAE has gone down to the 7th. And then if you see business fundamentals, although India is overall on the second position, India goes down very low, I think to the 14th position. So this you can see. And then there is another new component this year in 2023 which has been added compared to 2019, which is digital readiness, which was not there in 2019. So you can see in digital readiness, India ranks the first. So this is another important achievement which India has, which makes it a very attractive economy for different businesses to invest in Indian market. Also, you can go on to downloads here, and you can see the reports from different years are available. So this is the 2023 report. You can even see 2022 report, 2021 report, and this is the 2019 report which we have taken for our study. So in this report, for example, if you see, this is the overall performance or overall result which have been provided by them. From this you can get the details. If you want to read further of individual elements of of the agility index, that also can be read, and you can even read in a little bit detail about each country's profile, how the country is performing on different aspects of business readiness and ease of business, and even uh, their attractiveness in terms of logistic opportunities in the country. So you can see this is the report. I hope this is clear to you. So according to the 2019 index, India ranks the second. I hope this question is clear, and I hope you understood how to access the additional resources which I have added for further reading. So we'll move on to the next question. The next question is, as per the reports of the Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, that is DPIIT, the logistics sector of India is growing at a CAGR of what? So DPIIT is basically the Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade in India. The department is responsible for determining the industrial policy in India at the central level, and then it takes care of several matters which include productivity in Indian industries, industrial management in India, then matter related to e-commerce and startups, then facilitating ease of doing business in India, then promotion of internal trade and administration of industries, grant of industrial licenses, and acknowledging industrial entrepreneurs memorandum. So these are all the functions of the DPIIT. So according to one of DPIIT's report, the DPIIT mentioned the CAGR of logistics sectors in India. So what a CAGR is? CAGR is basically the compound annual growth rate. This is the rate of return that would be required for any investment to grow from its beginning balance, assuming that the profits of that investments are reinvested at the end of each period of the investment's total lifespan. So annually or annually or according to whatever regular period then profits are gained from the investment. They are then again reinvested in the same uh, same investment. The rate of return from that investment that would be required for it to grow from its beginning balance, that is what a CAGR is. So why CAGR is important? CAGR is important because it's one of the most accurate ways which helps you calculate and determine the returns for anything that can rise or fall in value over time. So what the DPIIT in its report it mentioned that the logistics sector in India is growing at a CAGR of 10.5%. So this is what I got from the lectures in which this report was mentioned. Although I was not able to find the DPIIT's original report in which this was mentioned, this have been mentioned by several other consultancies which study the growth of logistics sector in India. Apart from that, I have also linked DPIIT's website here for you. So if you want to see a little bit more about growth of industries in India, or how different sectors are growing, you can go to DPIIT's website and you can see their publications. So they have annual reports, and they have different statistics that DPIIT publishes. So for example, this is the FDI, foreign direct investment statistics. So for example, you can see for October to December 2022, these are the statistics that have been published. This is for one quarter, not the whole year, not annually, but for one quarter. So you can see the FDI flow in the country. You can see FDI from different countries, and in what amount of FDI have been received, and then uh, in terms of inflow in Indian currency and in USD. Then another important thing here is you can see even sector wise how much FDI equity is inflowing into the country. So you can see service sector, you can see computer, software and hardware sector, trading, telecommunication, automobile industry, drugs and pharmaceuticals, everything. So all these, if you are interested in getting to know a little bit more detail about sector-wise FDI or such things, you can access these reports. Here there are reports for FDI, even state-wise, that have been published by the DPIIT. So such kinds of reports, if you want, you can go to DPIIT's website and you can see. They have SIA statistics also. They have an annual report, and several other things. So if you want to know a little bit more about either the logistics sector or performance of different sectors of Indian economy, you can go to the link that I've shared, and you can see the statistics or the reports that have been published by DPIIT. I hope this question is clear. So according to DPIIT, the growth of logistics sector in India was 10.5%. So we'll move on to the next question now. So the next question is, in September 2020, Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas announced that it aims to operate some percentage of fuel stations owned by public sector oil companies using solar power within 5 years under the government sector energy drive. What percentage was it? So you are given 4 options: 50%, 45%, 40% and 52%. So this actually pertains to India's intentions to increasingly and actively taking part in clean energy transition. So from transitioning to greenhouse gas generating, or from non-renewable energies to cleaner and renewable energy sources. Uh, for example, in this case it is solar. So this this announcement actually it pertains to the International Solar Alliance, which is a part of Coalition for Sustainable Climate Action. So what the ministry did was it took up as a mission to solarize about 50% of the fuel stations which were owned by public sector oil companies in the next 5 years. So the operation of the fuel stations would be done using solar energy instead of other energy sources. This was what was took up by the ministry as a mission. So this is the press release which I have shared with you. you can see this press release which details out this commitment of the ministry to solarize 50% of the fuel stations. As you can see, five different public sector undertakings under petroleum and natural gas ministry. They have joined the International Solar Alliance, which as I said is a part of Coalition for Sustainable Climate Action. These PSUs have joined this alliance as corporate partners, and a part of this commitment was the ministry's commitment to solarize 50% of the fuel stations which are operated by public sector. So this is the complete press release. If you want to go through it, if you want to read a little bit more about this commitment, you can see this release. Apart from that, if you want to know a little bit more about the International Solar Alliance, you can visit this website which I have linked. This is the website of International Solar Alliance. So this is the International Solar Alliance is basically an action-oriented and member-driven collaborative platform. It is meant for increased deployment of solar energy technologies as a means for bringing energy access and ensuring energy security and driving energy transition in all its member countries. India is one of its member countries, as I just showed you. You can even go and see the founding conference of this alliance, and you can even see different you can first see the solar agenda, or the Delhi Solar, as it's known, the Delhi Solar Agenda. So this is the agenda that have been set up or taken up by the government of India as a part of this alliance. So these are all the different components of the solar agenda. Okay, so you can, if you want to read further, you can go ahead and read all the components. Apart from that, there are also list of different solar projects that are under implementation by the government of India's line of credit. So this is where in the government of India has provided credit to other third world countries to develop solar energy projects in their own countries. And for example, this is the list. So for example, you can see there is project for construction of a solar PV farm at Mauritius, which is under implementation. Then for Mozambique, then Nigeria, Sierra Leone, Sudan, Suriname, Senegal, different countries, and it mentions the details of the amount that have been credited as line of government of India's line of credit, and the status of different projects. So if you want to read further about these projects, you can go and visit these links and see for yourselves. Okay, I hope that is clear. Apart from that, I have also provided you a link which shows India's energy analysis. So how India is dependent on different energy sectors, as we are this question, I think it's clear that we are talking about how much percentage of fuel stations were pledged to be solarized by the government. That is 50%, that we know. But as a part of this question, we are talking about using solar power or transitioning to more renewable energy and more clean sources of energy, I wanted to share India's energy analysis with you also, how different so this is a report by US Energy Information Administration. So they have reported on how different sources of energy or different types of energy is consumed in India, from what sources it is provided, how much energy consumption has increased over time, and such things. For example, you can see this is total primary energy consumption in India, which is given by the type of fuel that is being consumed. You can see even now almost 44% of energy consumption is the source of energy comes from coal, which is followed by petroleum, which then biomass and waste, and hydropower is our largest renewable energy source, which we are harnessing, which is followed by nuclear 1% and other non-hydro renewables. Natural gas is another source which is used by India in huge quantities. If you want to read further, this report provides extensive details about fuel use in India. For example, this is the section which provides you the detail about petroleum and other liquids. So not only about consumption but even about production. So for example, you see this graph shows you both production and consumption of petroleum and other liquids in India over time. So you can see throughout the years there has been a steady production of petroleum, as India has limited natural resource for petroleum and other liquid fuel production. However, the consumption of petroleum and other liquid fuels have increased over time. There is a huge dip over here, which you can see. This is the I think this is reflected, this can be reflected or seen as the dip during the COVID period. Then there are also details about refining, India's refining sector, where the different refineries are located and what capacity of crude oils they are refining. There are even details about the trade. So as you see here, that the amount of oil and other liquids which we produce is less than amount that we consume. That is a very clear indicator that India imports a lot of petroleum and other liquid fuel from other countries. So you can see this is a graphic which shows how much crude oil import is done by India from different countries. You can see Middle East, the share of Middle East is the largest, followed by Iraq, Saudi Arabia, UAE, United States, and several other countries. You can even get the data of these figures if you click on to the link here. So this will the data related to these figures in the form of an Excel sheet. So if you want to do some analysis, get these figures, make some calculations, you can download the data of these figures from this link here below each figure. For example, this figure also has it. Then there are details about natural gas, then details about consumption of natural gas. You can see here details, annual production and consumption details have been provided. Then liquefied natural gas trades. So this shows imports of liquefied natural gas from different countries. Then India has also planned for regasification of regasification of several terminals, and even making new gas terminals. So these are the existing LNG import terminals, and then these are the ones which are under construction. Then there are plans for augmentation of pipeline infrastructure as well. So details about that also have been provided in this report. Then coal consumption. So you can see here the consumption of coal has been steadily increasing over time, although our production of coal earlier was in line with our consumption. Now the production the amount of coal that is consumed in the country has far outgrown the amount of coal that is produced within the country. So evidently India is also importing coal from other countries, and these are the sources from where coal is being imported. Then electricity also. So this is a very important graphic. It actually shows that where our electricity comes from. So you can see from this graphic that a large portion of our electricity still comes from coal. So while transitioning to electric vehicles or use of electricity as a fuel source is considered as transitioning to cleaner or greener fuel usage, but it has to be kept in mind that where the electricity is coming from, or what fuel is actually being used to generate the electricity. So I think this graph shows it very clearly that still there is a need of transition for electricity generation from from non-renewable sources to renewable sources, and from sources which have a lot of which create a lot of emissions, greenhouse gas emissions, to the ones which have a lower impact on the global climate. So I think this also is a great representation of energy generation from different fuel sources. Then this shows the generating capacity and such. So I think this can also be helpful to you if you want to see or read a little bit more about India's transition, or how India is transitioning to more cleaner or renewable resources. Another thing which you can do is that this report is actually for year 2022. You can even go and see reports for previous years. So starting from 2004, you have reports up till 2020. So you can just click onto the link and see reports of previous years as well. So for example, this is the report for 2020. I hope this is helpful to you. I have shared the link with you. This is the link for the energy analysis, and if you want to read further about India's transition and what are the different policies, how the infrastructure development that the government is undertaking for this transition, you can go on to this link and read. I hope this is helpful. We'll move on to the next question now. So the next question is India and Japan have joined hands for the infrastructure development of which states of India, and you are given 4 options. So it does not say one particular state, but it gives you regions. So is it the southern states, is it the northern states, is it the northeastern states, or eastern states? So this question actually talks about India and Japan's bilateral relations, and it specifically talks about the Act East Forum. So the Act East Forum it's a forum that exists to provide a platform for India and Japan collaboration under the rubric of India's Act East policy and the Japan's rubric for free and open Indo-Pacific strategy. So, India's Act East policy is an initiative which includes development and opening of uh, the economy and creating more economic opportunities of the northeastern states of India. And Japan's Indo-Pacific free and open Indo-Pacific strategies follows along the same lines of opening the economies, creating more sustainable and independent economies in the Indo-Pacific area or the Indo-Pacific region. So, as a part of India and Japan's bilateral relations, this Act East Forum has been established, and the forum, what it intends to do is to identify specific projects for economic modernization of India's northeastern region, including those which are pertaining to the connectivity of the region, developmental infrastructure in the region, industrial linkages of the region to other areas, both domestical linkages and international, as well as for people to people contact through tourism, culture and sports related activities. So, the activities which are under the purview of in this initiative, these include agriculture, development of agro industries, especially through small and medium enterprises, promotion of tourism and cultural exchanges, promoting skill India, then cooperation in development of urban areas in the northeast, then providing healthcare. So, all the infrastructure and facilities related to healthcare services, then promoting a sustainable use of forest resources. As you know, the northeastern region of India is very rich in terms of forest resources. So, promoting sustainable use of these resources is also important directive of this forum. Then development of new and renewable energy, disaster resilience. You might know that northeastern region is also home to a lot of natural and climate related disasters. So, again this becomes an important imperative in this forum, and the most important of them all is the connectivity of the region. So, I think it is clear to you that the Act East Forum is talking about the northeastern region of India. So, that is the answer for this question. I have also provided 2 links for you to go to and read if you want to read a little bit more about this about India Japan's bilateral relations or the Act East Forum. So, this is a link of FICCI which provides an overview of the bilateral relations between India and Japan, with which opportunities and initiatives are ahead. So, you can see it gives an overview of Indian and Japanese economy and the latest development in both economies, and then India's and Japan's collaboration with third world countries, and then FICCI's initiative towards promotion of India and Japan's relations, and also of the formation of India and Japan's Friendship Forum, which I just mentioned. So, for example, you can see overview of Indian economy and its latest developments. You can see the same for Japan. You can see the economic projections that are made for the economies. You can see things like how the economies are planning to attract foreign business investments, and what are the policy packages that they are following to do the same. And here you can see an overview of India and Japan's bilateral relations. So you can see the different MOUs which exist between the countries. For example, even the International Solar Alliance is a part of this. So Japan has joined the International Solar Alliance, of which India is also a member country. Then about 7 yen loan projects for some construction project. Then currency swap agreement. Then there is India-Japan digital partnership, which exists for implementing arrangement for deeper cooperation between a maritime self-defense force and other MOUs. Then it also provides details for multilateral engagement of the countries. So there exists a bilateral engagement between India and Japan as a part of different multilateral platforms. So for example, G20 is one platform of which both India and Japan are member countries. United Nations is another platform. Then Asia Africa Growth Corridor is another platform of which both India and Japan are member countries. So this provides detail about those. So you can go further and see the different cooperation agreements which exist between the both countries and see the details. So for example, here are the details about the India-Japan Act East Forum. So if you want to read further, you can see this. Apart from this, I have added another link which you can see if you want to read more about the Act East Forum. So this is the details or a fact sheet of the Act East Forum. So you can see the scope of this forum on based on different sectors, or different sectors or different areas, what the forum proposes to do. So for example, in agriculture, capacity enhancement for sustainable agriculture and development in Mizoram. So this is for the specific state of Mizoram. For development of agro industries through small and medium enterprises. So they have an initiative for strengthening bamboo value chain in Northeast. As you might know that bamboo is a very important natural resource which is used by agro industries in the northeastern state. So for strengthening the value of that, which is specific to the northeastern states, this is being done. Apart from that, food processing such as tea industries, organic farming, horticulture, etc., which also a project to support women's empowerment. Then B2B collaboration between India and Japan. Then promotion of tourism and cultural exchanges. So for that, art and cultural exchanges between northeastern region and Japan, including Shillong Cherry Blossom Festival in Meghalaya, and promotion of tourism in Meghalaya. Then for as a part of promoting skills, collaboration through skill centers such as JEC, which is a Japanese endowed course which is available at IIT Guwahati in Assam. Then promoting Japanese language education in northeastern states. Then deploying trainees or workers to Japan under technical intern training programs and specified skilled worker systems, etc. So this is another way of promoting skills in India. Then cooperation in development for urban areas. So different infrastructures or other services can be improved through this cooperation. So for example, pursuing the water supply and sewerage projects in Guwahati, Assam is a part of it. Then pursuing promotion of environment friendly mobility in the northeastern states. Then exploring possibility of industrial townships, including decentralization in Nagarbeira, Assam. Then cooperation in the Kohima Smart City Mission for sustainable urban development. These kinds of things are part of the cooperation for development in the urban areas. Then, for example, for healthcare, there are things like strengthening the healthcare system and quality of medical education in Assam. Then, advancing consultation and cooperation, establishing a tertiary super specialty cancer research center in Aizawl, and then exploring the potential of cooperation for strengthening function of the medical college in Kohima, things like that. Then for promoting sustainable use of forest resources, there are several ongoing projects in Tripura, Nagaland, Sikkim and Meghalaya. So these are all the states which have very very substantial forest resources. So they are following several projects which promote the sustainable use of the forest resources in these states. Then for development of new and renewable energy, there are hydroelectric power station project in Meghalaya. Then for disaster resilience, there are application of guidelines and Japanese methods for introducing JICA's technical cooperation for future road development, so that the future infrastructure development is disaster resilient. Then resilient connectivity to capacity development is also there for resilient mountainous highways. Then mock drills for disaster management, and information exchange and discussion for training of regional emergency management and training institute in Kohima, Nagaland. Then for connectivity, there is ongoing Northeast Road Network Connectivity Improvement Project of national highways in Meghalaya and Mizoram. There is also Dhubri Fulwari Bridge Access Road, which is a part of this forum, and several other bridge and access road projects are a part of this, which you can see here. Apart from that, even upgradation of state highways and major district roads are a part of this connectivity vertical of the forum. So I hope this helps you understand a little bit more about the different infrastructure development project which are part of this Act East Forum, which is a part of India and Japan's bilateral relationship for infrastructure development in northeastern states of India. I hope this question is clear. We'll move on to the next one. So the next question is full form of PMAY related to housing by the government of India is what? So PMAY is the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, which is now PMAY-U, which is Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Urban. So that is a flagship mission of the government of India, which is being implemented by the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, and it was originally launched in 2015 and is still going on. So I think it is clear to you what the answer to this question is. The full form of PMAY is Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. So what this mission does is it addresses urban housing shortage among the economic weaker sections and lower income groups in Indian cities. It also involves middle income group categories, including slum dwellers in urban areas, and it aims to ensure a Pakka house to all eligible urban households by the year 2022, when India completes 75 years of its independence. So this is a graphic which has been provided by the PMAY website of what this program has achieved in by 2022. So you can see overall sanctions of 1.23 crore plus houses So you can see what the demand was there, then how much houses have been sanctioned, how much have been grounded, and how much have been completed as a part of this project, then how much financial aid has been committed to this project, and then you can see construction of housing in different verticals. So there is CLSS, AHB, and BLC. So for example, BLC is beneficiary led construction. So and then investment that is approved by the center or the state government or for the specific beneficiary. So CLSS is the construction which is done by central led schemes, and then AHB is another type of construction. So you can see the details about all of this if you visit the website. So I have provided a link of the website here. So this is PMAY's website. So you can see the urban progress as 2022 was the year by which they had pledged to provide Pakka houses to all the eligible urban beneficiaries or urban households. So this is the progress that has been displayed on the website. You can even see details of different programs or subparts of the PMAY. And so for example, this is CLSS or CLS Awas portal. So this is a platform where stakeholders which are the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, central nodal agencies, and lending institution beneficiaries etc. They are all integrated in a real-time environment, and they can track the process of the sanctioning of funds for construction of the houses, if the houses are being constructed, and have they been approved, and such thing. Another important thing which I think people will find interesting is I am not able to find it here, but there was a link to the Bhuvan portal. So Bhuvan portal actually displays in real time, not in real time, but it displays the progress of construction of different houses in a geographical integrated system, and you can see the status of progress or construction of different houses under this PMAY program. So I am not able to find it right now, but I'll find it by the next session, and I'll share a link with you to view that as well in the next session. So I think this question is very clear what PMAY's full form is. So PMAY is the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, which is a flagship mission of Indian government for construction of houses for EWS, LIG, and MIG categories in urban areas. So I hope this is clear. We'll move on to the next question. The next question is India's present day conglomerate started by Jamshedji Tata was started in which era? So this question actually pertains to India's history of economic growth, or India's economic and industrial growth over time. So as you were This would have been showed in the lectures as well, that industrial and economic growth in India, it can be divided into four sections, which is the pre-independence era, era from 1948, which is after independence, to 1991, and then the era after the 1991 economic reforms, and then the present times. So Jamshedji Tata was actually he founded the India's earliest global conglomerate or enterprise, and he did it in 1868, which was pre-independence period. So this global enterprise is headquartered in India, and it now comprises of 30 companies across 10 different verticals. So these companies include Tata Consultancy Services, or TCS, you might know, then Tata Motors, Tata Steel, Tata Chemicals, then Tata Consumer Products, Titan, Tata Capital, Tata Power, Indian Hotels, Tata Communications, Tata Digital, and Tata Electronics. The verticals under which these companies fall are automotive, technology, consumer and retail, infrastructure, aerospace and defense, tourism and travel, telecom and media, trading and investments, steel and financial services. So these Tata Group is a global conglomerate, or which is composed of these different companies, and lies under 10 different verticals, which I just mentioned. So this was actually founded in 1868, which is the pre-independence era, which I think it is clear to you now what the answer to this question is, that the conglomerate was established in the pre-independence era. So in the pre-independence era, most of the products or handicrafts which were produced in India were exported in large numbers to the before the British era had started, like even before British occupation of India. Then later, after British occupation, things progressed for Indian economy very slowly, and was largely controlled by the British government. So the first charcoal-fired iron making in India was attempted in Tamil Nadu in 1830. After that, the industries slowly grew, and in 1868, as we just saw, the Tata Group was founded by Jamshedji Tata. And then still the industrial growth in India was slow due to the regressive policies of the time, which were set up by the British government. And but later, during the World War, the industry grew over the two World War periods in efforts to support the British during the war. So after after independence was achieved by India, the focus of Indian government shifted on basic and heavy industries within the start of 5-year plans. So 5-year plans are plans made by the Indian government for development of economy and industries in India. So as a part of the initial 5-year plans, the focus was largely on basic and heavy industry. Then comprehensive industrial policy resolution was announced in 1956, and iron, steel and heavy engineering and lignite projects, fertilizers formed the basis of industrial planning in India. After a while, focus slowly shifted to agro industries as well, as this was a result of many factors. While license Raj grew in the country, and public enterprises grew more inefficient. and due to this the industries started losing their competitiveness. So in order to tackle this uh, uh, loss of competitiveness and slowdown of the economy or the industries, several economic reforms were introduced in 1991, which uh, introduced more globalization of trade, or opening up the Indian economy to global trade, and even inviting more foreign direct investment in India. So Indian markets were open to global competition with LPG reforms, and it gave way to private sector entrepreneurs, and the license Raj came to an end. Then services became the engines of growth. So the service sector, so there is primary, secondary and tertiary sector, which you might know. Primary is the agriculture and allied sectors. Secondary is the manufacturing sector, and tertiary is the service sector. So service sector became the engine of the growth after the 1991 reforms, and while industrial production saw volatility in growth rates, the service sector continued booming. The MSMEs in the country were also given a push through government's policy measures post the 1991 reforms. So presently in India, Make in India campaign was launched to attract manufacturers and more foreign direct investment, and the government is aiming to establish India as a global manufacturing hub through its different national and international policy measures, and by providing different incentives specific to the manufacturing sectors in India. Uh, Currently, 70% of manufacturing units are under the private sector in India, and GVA at basic prices from manufacturing grew at a CAGR of 4.46% to the earlier financial year at the current prices. So this is what the present scenario is. So I think it is clear to you the answer of this question about the founding of the Tata conglomerate. Tata Group was done in the pre-independence era, and that is the answer to this question. Coming on to the next question, which also is related to economic growth and development of different sectors and industries in India. So this question asks that in the post 1991 reform stage of Indian manufacturing sector, which sector became the engine of growth? So you are given four options: industrial production, services, agriculture, or all of the above. So as we saw here also, that the services or the service sector, it became the engine of growth after the post 1991 reform, while the primary and secondary sectors saw some volatility in the growth rate. And you can see that from the figures over here also, that the percentage of the percentage share of the sectors, so this shows how much each sector contributed to India's gross domestic product in different decades. You can see the percentage share of the primary sector, which is the agriculture and allied industries. It decreased from 55.3 in 1950s to 47.6 in 60s, further to 42.8, and then very drastically after the 1990s to 21.8. You can see also the industries, while it increased uh, okay. You can see the industry or the manufacturing sector as well. While it increased over in the period, the increase has been very gradual as compared to the service sector. If you see, so the service sector contributed only 29.8% in the 1950s, and it was steadily growing throughout 1960s, 70s, and 80s. But it saw a huge growth after the 1990s policy reform, and reached to almost 54% of the share of gross domestic product in the 2000s. You can even see the growth of different economic sectors in throughout different years. So not through not decade wise, but annually in this figure. So you can see after the 1999, there is a huge growth in the service sector, while the industry is also growing, but not as fast as the service sector, and there is some volatility in the growth rate, and there are a lot of fluctuations. Similarly, for the agriculture and allied sectors as well, there is a lot of fluctuations in the growth of those economic sectors. You can also see the average by decade of different services in the service sector. So you can see growth of trade, hotels and restaurants, how it has been going on, and you can see transport, storage and communication has experienced the largest growth after the 1990s policies reform. You can also see growth of financing, insurance, real estate and business services over time, and community, social and personal services, and then the growth of total gross domestic product as a factor cost. All these figures you can find in this link. So this is actually this is a working paper developed by the prepared by the Asian Development Bank. So this is a paper on the service sector in India. So how the service sector in India has progressed over time. So you can see, if you want to so this is the paper which I am talking about, the working paper. If you want to see how the service sector in India has progressed over time, you can, if you want to read further, you can go on to this link and read this for yourself. So for example, this gives an overview. So the classification of governance, how governance surrounding the industrialization and economy in India is structured. Then contribution to the gross domestic product from different sectors. Then even details about employment and labor productivity and future growth of different sectors. And then there is also a section on assessing the openness of the service sector in India, and then a little bit about different barriers that exist and the reforms, followed by conclusions section and the way forward for Indian economy, specifically the service sector in India. So for example, you can see here the classification and governance. So the service sector and national industrial reclassification of 2008, as we saw in our timeline as well. So this shows you a little bit about the jurisdiction in the service sector, then how the contribution to the GDP from different sectors has evolved over time. Then you can see growth of economic sectors. You can even see decadal share of different service types and overall GDP percentages. You can see decade of growth of different service industries, as I mentioned. Then a little bit about employment. So employment in different sectors. So for example, you can see here employment in agriculture has although the GDP contribution of agriculture has declined over time, the employment in the sector has not. It has increased over time, which is concerning for an economy, as the GDP contribution decreases but the people employed in the sector increase. Similarly, you can see for the industrial sector as well, and the services sector. So the contribution of different areas of service sector has also been given in detail in this. Then you can even see labor productivity for different sectors. As I said, agriculture, in the case of agriculture, the labor productivity has decreased over time as the number of people employed in the sectors increase over time. However, the contribution of the sector to the GDP decreases over time. Similarly, you can see categorization of services based on their productivity and growth, what the future growth is will look like for India, and what India's competitive advantages are there in service and exports, and a little bit about investments and foreign direct investments in service sector in India. Then the barrier which exists and the reforms in policy making and regulation which are required, things like that. So I hope this is helpful to you, and you can go on ahead and read the document if you want to know further about the growth of service sector in India over time. So I think this question is clear, that post 1991 reform stage of Indian manufacturing sector, the service sector became the engine of growth. Moving on to the next question. Out of the following, India's manufacturing value chains to reach global competitiveness, which is skill intensive? You are given 4 options: agriculture and food, pharmaceuticals, apparel and textiles, and renewable energy. So you can see here, this is taken from a report done by McKinsey, that this shows the time horizon for India's manufacturing value chains, which is asked in the question, and how much time these value chains will take to reach the level of global competitiveness. So you can see several different types of industries are mentioned in this. So for example, vehicle and vehicle components, capital goods and machine tools, pharmaceuticals, chemicals and allied products, agriculture and food, etc. So you can see here, this shows that these are at scale, these are mature value chains. Then this here shows that they are established but underweight value chains, they still need to transform, and the uh, uh, industries which lie, I'm so sorry, industries which lie in this area, they are still emerging value chains, and they still need a lot of time. So among these, you can see our question asks about the skill intensive value chains. So you can see these three belong to the skill intensive value chain. So first is vehicle and vehicle components, second is capital goods and machine tools, and third is pharmaceuticals. So we'll go back and look at our options. So our options include agriculture and food. So agriculture and food actually lie in raw material intensive value chains, so that is not our answer. Pharmaceuticals is our answer, as pharmaceutical is a skill intensive value chain. Apparel and textiles, so apparel and textiles also lie in raw material intensive value chain, so again that is not our answer. And renewable energy is a part of technology intensive value chain, again that is not our answer. So skill intensive value chain is basically value chain or an industrial value chain which requires a lot of dedicated skills or specialization in skill for that value chain or for that industry to reach a level of global competitiveness. If it's a raw material intensive value chain, it will need a lot of raw material to reach the global competitiveness, and if it's a technology or innovation intensive value chain, it will need a lot of technological and innovation input for that industry or that value chain to reach the level of global competitiveness. So our question here asks about skill intensive value chains. So vehicle components, capital goods and machine tools, and pharmaceuticals are the three value chains which fall in this category, and therefore our answer for this question is pharmaceuticals. I hope this question is clear. We'll move on to the next question. So the next question is, as per the map on planned industrial corridors by Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion, public domain by the Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion, public domain, which state in the following is not involved in the corridor pathway? And you are given four options: Tamil Nadu, Gujarat, Arunachal Pradesh and West Bengal. So this question basically pertains to the national industrial corridors or industrial corridor pathways that have been established in the country or are taken up by the government of India. So for example, this is the list of different corridors which have been planned. So there is the Delhi Mumbai industrial corridor, Amritsar Kolkata industrial corridor, Chennai Bangalore industrial corridor, then there is Vizag Chennai industrial corridor, then Hyderabad Nagpur industrial corridor, there is Hyderabad Warangal industrial corridor, there is Hyderabad Bangalore industrial corridor, there is also Odisha economic corridor, and then Bengaluru Mumbai industrial corridor, and Kochi and Coimbatore industrial corridor, then also Delhi and Nagpur industrial corridor. So these are all the industrial corridors that have been planned by the government of India, which exists. So you can see from this that Tamil Nadu is definitely a part of the corridor pathway because of the Chennai-Bangalore Industrial Corridor. Gujarat is a part of the Delhi-Mumbai Industrial Corridor, as you can see from this map. Also, West Bengal is a part of the Amritsar-Kolkata corridor. Apart from that, you can even visit this website. I have linked this website for you. So this is the National Industrial Corridor Development Corporation of India, and this will provide you with the details of all the industrial and economic corridors that have been proposed and planned for development in India. You can see the details of all the industrial corridors, and if you go to each corridor, you can even see which states are a part of the different industrial corridors. So for example, Gujarat, Rajasthan, or like one the only state among the only state which does not fall in the corridor pathway of any industrial or economic corridor is Arunachal Pradesh, as you can see from the different options here. Delhi-Mumbai corridor does not cover the northeastern states. Amritsar-Kolkata industrial corridor also does not cover northeastern state. Chennai-Bangalore, Vizag, and Chennai it for South Indian states. Hyderabad-Nagpur also does not cover the northeastern states. Similarly, Hyderabad-Warangal, Hyderabad-Bengaluru, Bengaluru-Mumbai, Odisha economic corridor, and Kochi-Coimbatore corridor, and Delhi-Nagpur industrial corridor. None of these corridors cover the northeastern states. So therefore, it is clear that Arunachal Pradesh is the answer of this question, and Arunachal Pradesh is the only state which has the map on planned industrial corridors by Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion Public Domain. Arunachal Pradesh is not a part of any planned industrial and economic corridor in India. If you want to see a little bit more about the different corridors, you can visit this link of National Industrial Corridor Development Corporation of India, and you can see about the different industrial corridors. You can even see the different projects which are part of the National Industrial Corridor Development Plan or development program, and you can see the details about different projects. So for example, this is the Delhi-Mumbai Industrial Corridor. So it gives you the details about the corridor, what projects have been planned, which major cities or DMIC nodes are planned for this corridor, and you can even get the executive summary report for all different industrial corridors. I hope it is clear to you. The answer to this question is Arunachal Pradesh, and I hope the background material which I have provided will help you get to know a little bit more about the different planned industrial corridors in India. So moving on to the next question. So out of the following states, which state is not a part of top 10 states with the highest employability as per the India Skills Report of 2018? And you are given 4 options: Andhra Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Odisha, and Punjab. So this is the graphic from the India Skills Report. So you can see from the graphic that cities with highest employability include Bengaluru, Chennai, Indore, Lucknow, Mumbai, Nagpur, New Delhi, and Pune and Trichy. And this among these states, you have to see which of the following four options is not a part of the the cities with highest employability. So you can see Andhra Pradesh. Uh, uh, Andhra Pradesh is a part of cities with states with highest employability. So Andhra Pradesh is not the correct answer. Then Madhya Pradesh. Madhya Pradesh is also a state with among the top 10 highest employability state. Then let's see Punjab. Even Punjab is a state which lies among the top 10 states with highest employability. And then let's see Odisha. So Odisha is not a state which comes under the top 10 highest employability states. So you can see from this graphic that Odisha is not one of the states which is top 10 in the highest employability as per the India Skills Report. This report also gives top 10 cities of the highest employability, which I just mentioned. So this includes Bengaluru, Chennai, Indore, Lucknow, Mumbai, Nagpur, New Delhi, Pune, and Tiruchirappalli. I have also provided you the link of this report. So the report that we are talking about is in this question is the report for 2018. So this link will take you to this 2018 India Skills Report. So this is prepared by a consultancy, VBox, for UNDP, and you can download the report here. So you can see this is the report. So it gives you detail about new jobs and new skills in India. It tells you about workforce and gender diversity, then India's hiring intent, and skill matchmaking for the job seeking people and the various employers. So if you want to read further about this report, you can go on to this link, and this is the 2018 report of India Skills. So discusses several things like the impact of automation in industries in India, how it has affected the skills and employability, and the employment structure of India and Indian industries. What are the new skills that are required in present day scenario. It also gives a detail about their survey methodology and data analysis, how they have calculated that which states are the most top 10 in India Skills Report. And then it also provides detail about the respondents, so about respondents by company size, company type, and sectors which have participated in this survey to see the skill of Indian cities and Indian states. It also gives details of overall employability, how it has changed throughout the years. And then it gives you details about domain wise employability. So for example, engineering, MBA, different domains, how much employability different domains have. And then even course wise employability you can see have been given by this report. And then this is the state wise and city wise top 10 states and cities with high employability, which is mentioned here as we just saw. Then it also shows you a little bit about gender wise employability, how gendered the employability is in terms of skills and other factors in India. So male employability state wise and female employability state wise. And then skill availability that is present in state wise, so based on different skills, so based on learning agility, then adaptability, then interpersonal skills, emotional intelligence, conflict resolution, self-determination, etc. So these are all the different things that this report discusses. So if you want to see further, you can take time and see this report as well. So another link which I have provided is for the different skills report. So this report, as I mentioned, this was for year 2018. Apart from that, if you visit this other link, it will take you to VBox's website. So VBox is the consultancy which prepares these skill reports. So you can see here you can find the skill reports for 2023, 2022, 2023 one being the latest, then for 21, 2020, so all the way back to 2014. So if you want to see how the skill sets or skills and employabilities have changed in India over time, you can go and see several other reports as well. I hope this question is clear. So the answer to this question is Odisha, as Odisha is not a state which is a part of the top 10 states in India with the highest employability. So I hope this is clear. This was the last question for today. Thank you very much for attending today's session. I'll take questions now if anyone has any questions. Okay, screen is not visible, someone has mentioned. So if you can Sagar or Suyesh or Asifa, if you can just tell me which part you missed, I can show it to you again. If you can just tell me from which question you missed it, I can discuss it once again. Asifa, you have raised your hand. Please type your question in the chat box if you want to ask something. Sagar is saying that it was visible after some time, nothing was missed. So for Sagar it is okay. Asifa or Suyesh, if you missed anything, please let me know if something needs to be discussed again. Okay, Suyesh also says it's not missed. Asifa is also saying not missed. Okay, okay, then that is great. Are there any questions? If any one of you has any questions, please let me know. I'll answer your questions. And you can just type your questions in the chat box and I'll get to them. Asifa, if you joined late, that is no problem. I don't know if you are aware, all of these sessions are recorded, and these will be shared with you via link. The link will be for a YouTube video, and you can go and watch the video, and I will have discussed all the questions and a recording of all the questions and how they are being solved will be provided to you. If you just want to see the questions in a glance, I'll just uh, browse through them once, so you can just see them once, and if you have any questions you can ask quickly. So this is the first question. It was about the 2019 Agility Emerging Markets Logistic Index and about India's rank in it. This is the second question. It was the logistics sector's CAGR, which is mentioned in a report provided by the Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade. Then this is a question about India's intentions of solarizing 50% of the fuel stations which are operated by the public sector. Then this is a question about the Act East Forum, which is part of India and Japan's bilateral relations for the infrastructure development of the northeastern states of India. Then there is this question about the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana (PMAY), which is a program for housing in urban areas for the EWS, LIG, and MIG categories. Then this is a question about the growth of industries and economy in India over different eras. So this has been divided into the pre-independence era, era after the independence up until the 1991 reforms, then the era after the post 1991 economic reforms, and then the current. So a part of this discussion was when the conglomerate started by Jamshedji Tata, that is the Tata conglomerate, when was it established. So this question is pertaining to that. Then the next question is about the growth of manufacturing sector and service sector after the 1991 economic reforms. Then this question is about the global competitiveness, which specific industries are skill intensive, raw material intensive, and technology intensive, and at what stage they are in terms of reaching to the level of global competitiveness. And then this question was about the industrial corridors in India and different industrial corridors. And the last question was about the employability as per the India skills report. So I hope that is clear. If you have any further questions, Asifa, you can ask, or even anyone else which is present here. If you have any questions, please go ahead. Asifa doesn't have any further questions. I see Rahul, Sagar, and Suyesh. If you have any questions, please go ahead. So yes, she's asking, are all the reports data sets which I showed in the presentation, they were great, but he has a general question that architecture falls under which intensive category, skill, raw material, etc. So yes, architecture is actually industry which falls in the service sector, but even in the service sector, different components related to architecture can fall under different categories. So here we talked largely about capital goods, machine tools, pharmaceuticals, chemical and allied products. So we didn't specifically, this is about the manufacturing sector. uh, Architecture actually falls in architecture and planning, it falls in the service sector, so it does not fall in the manufacturing sector or in terms of manufacturing value chains or global competitiveness. I hope that is clear to you. So it is not an industry which is a part of the manufacturing sector. However, the question 8 uh, talks about the industries which are part of the manufacturing sector. However, architecture is part of the service sector, which is the tertiary sector. I hope this is clear. Any other questions? Any other questions? Anand or Rahul, if you have any questions, please ask. Okay, if there are no further questions, should I end the session for today? Okay, okay. So I'll end the session for today. Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much for attending today's session. If you still have any further doubts or any questions regarding the course material or uh, any of the quiz questions, you can ask in the forum as well. So those questions can be taken by uh, mm, uh, any teaching assistant or even Professor Shivaji himself. So feel free to ask any further questions in the forum as well, or if you have any further doubts, you can come with them in the next session as well. So thank you for attending today's session, and I'll see you in the next session.